So welcome to the weekend and this project that we're trying to build for putting on the App Store. Now, it's been a while since I've actually done one of these, and it's got to the weekend. I've got some coding in front of me, and I wanted to try and film it again because, again, like I said, it's been a while. I have to apologize for that if you have been following the other videos, just because whenever I've been getting moments to do anything, it's been a toss up between obviously either filming and editing or sitting down and code. And obviously, the priority is to code the app. So that's kind of been it. And I just haven't had the time to edit or do any of the footage because I've been doing little bits and pieces, but it just wasn't enough for, it wasn't ready for making a video. So what I thought I'd do is I'm just going to film it a little bit more casually, a lot less editing, which might make it feel a little bit more natural. Hopefully, it doesn't make it too long-winded. But anyway, we'll give it a go and we'll see what happens. So moving ahead into the weekend, where we're at with the project since the last update, is it's not actually too bad. So I've actually got all the back-end data is all working now. The app itself and its functionality kind of works. Um, so yeah, I was using Swift data. That's working fine. And then I introduced CloudKit, which again seemed to be working fine. Now, what did happen was, and I'm sure I checked this, and I thought it was okay, but basically, I'll put it on the screen. It'll probably be the one bit of editing that I do. On the daily view, I have the entries that you list below when you select a date, but you also have a set of behaviors that I don't think match individual entries. I think it makes it too complex for the user. So I thought just overall behaviors of low, medium, high, or none to certain aspects of their child's behavior and their day. Now, when you do the slider panels, it obviously updates, and that's great. You select a new date, it goes back to 0 because you're on a new, goes to none because you're on a new day, and then you set it again. The trouble is that when you go back to the day that you've just done, even though I've implemented the code to save it and to load it properly, it doesn't restore. It just, the sliders stay where they are. So this has taken me like a week, obviously in and out of work and life and other things. Whenever I've sat down to do code, last weekend and over the week, it's all been about this bug to try and get this fixed. Now, the problem with it is that I just can't figure it out. I even had a few friends of mine, we were doing a Zoom catch up just for another project that we were thinking about doing together after this one. And it didn't end up being a discussion on that. We ended up just sitting there trying to debug my code in the screen. And all three of us had a go. And we couldn't really figure out what was going on, whether we was not loading correctly or whether it wasn't saving correctly. So my uh, conclusion is what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip all the functionality of the view. I may even, I am actually no, I'm going to reconstruct the entire view itself as well because everything else seems okay. So I'm going to reconstruct that view. I'm going to then build it out again in slightly different code. I think I'm going to do it a little bit more, not as finessed at all. It's going to be very budget code just to try and get it to get the functionality working, and then I can refine it afterwards. Um, but yeah, that's my plan. Now, I woke up a little bit later than what I thought I would, so I've got less time this morning, but this afternoon, I should, if all things go well, have a couple of hours at least to be able to crack this out. So let's see how that goes. And obviously, I'm going to film it and just put it up in this sort of more unedited format. And yeah, if they find that interesting, educational, if there's anything I've learned along the way, obviously, I'm going to mention it and show you on here. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm going to finish making this coffee for me and the wife, and then I'm going to go upstairs and try and dismantle this view and start from scratch. Right, so let me explain how things are working behind the scenes for this behavior view and what I think is the issue potentially, and also what could potentially be the problem. Well, what I'm going to try to solve the problem with. Now, if you're looking at this and you're a more advanced coder and developer, you probably will be shouting at the screen or maybe telling me I'm wrong. So please do so in the comments. But I need paper. Who's this paper? Okay, this will work. So at the moment, there are two things happening in the back end of the data of my app. Okay, so initially, I have something called date value, which is basically dealing with the dates with this entire custom calendar view that I made with the help of a few tutorials from YouTube that I was able to piece together. So that handles all of that. So all of the dates and everything for this custom calendar view. The other thing that I've got stored is an actual event value. Okay, so when someone makes an entry, that's not how you spell event. Oh, what? Start that again. Okay, entry. Entry. Now these are the actual entries. Can you see that? Oh dear, I need a bigger pen. Anyway, entries. Okay, so they're being stored in there and then filtered by the date value that is selected at the time. And that's what compiles in the list of events when you select a date. Perfect. Now, on the other view, which is just daily behaviors, I linked that to the date value. Oh, wow, this is going to look rubbish on camera, but we'll stick with it. I linked this with the date value, and so I'm storing the date value in Swift data, and obviously that will follow on to iCloud. Now, what I'm thinking is that this date value, I don't understand, if I'm completely honest with you, some of the code of what I'm doing with this and how I'm manipulating this date value for the calendar view. And that's because I was trying to piece it together from the tutorials of making a custom calendar view. So a shout out to Stuart Lynch and I've forgotten the other one. I'm going to put it in the description under below. So a link to much better tutorial channels. But we have date value and we have behavior. I think this relationship here is causing problems. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to remove date value from the back end. I'm just going to let it completely load as it was doing and creating itself, getting rid of itself as is needed, because all it needs to do is work on the calendar. And then I'm going to create a new type for behavior. And what I'll do is obviously then when you go to the behavior page, that loads the different behavior that is for the date that's passed in without having to have it stored in date value. It's a separate thing, same as entry is a separate thing. Now, maybe that's obvious, or maybe that was a silly mistake, or I'm about to walk into a silly mistake. Only you will know if you're more experienced, but I'm going to give this a go now. So I'm going to tear out date value from Swift data, and then we're going to add a new behavior type and then pass that into the behavior view, filter it. I'm going to have to do a check to see whether there's a new date which hasn't been set. So in that case, I'll create a behavior view for that date, or I will then have to load one if I've already set it, and then we can edit it when the view is in displayed. That makes sense in my head. Hopefully, it makes sense to you. And yeah, right, let's give that a go. So I've been coding on this just a little bit, and I've removed the values that I need to out of the date value. I've now created a new model, which is all about daily behaviors, which is great. So I've added that to the container, removed the daily value out of the container. And so model-wise, everything's set up. The thing that I'm going to have to change though now is because now that I'm thinking about it, the way I'm displaying this on the view when you scroll across, the sort of the customizable bits, I like how accessible it is, but if I'm going to change this to more values in the future or allow people to make custom sort of values of how to track their child's day, I don't necessarily think that's going to be the most practical view. So what I might do is I'm going to change this into like a display view of what it is, and also have the option for going into a new view to actually fill the whole screen and change the values there. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So that's a change of plan. So pen and paper time now. I'm going to have to draw this out and try and figure a way of what I want it to look like, because this isn't exactly how I originally planned it, but that's fine. We'll do this, and then hopefully I should be able to just put a bit of code in to edit it and allow it to save and then display on the other screen, which should be a lot more straightforward. And I think that'll be okay. I'm hoping. So let's do that. Where's my pen? Okay, so now we actually have it finished. I've been able to just change the way that everything was going to look. So instead of having the one view, I've now decided to put the two views together. I think it looks, well, it works a lot better. I think it's going to be a bit more, it's another tap to another screen, which is unfortunate. I was trying to keep it as seamless as being just there in front of people, but it will probably make it easier because I do want to make it so that I can add more values in the future, that we could, that they can track the behavior of each day. But fine, let's have a quick little look at what it looks like now. And yeah, please don't pay any attention to the UI. It's not finished. It's just for functionality. I need to get it to work. And afterwards, I'm going to clean it up. But check it out. So here we go. So here's the screen as would be usually. So we stick to date, 14th, everything updates on here on the events. And now if we scroll across, we've got the day's behavior. Again, please ignore the UI. It's terrible because I haven't done anything to it. I'm going to clean this up. But anyway, no behavior is entered today on the 26th. So if we add behavior, it now goes to a new screen where we can select and keep what we want. There was none, and then the other two are medium. Perfect. We press save. It saves it. And now it displays like this, which I think is quite cool. Now you can do two things. So first of all, let's just show that was one that I edited earlier, so that's fine. You notice that changes one that we haven't done it. Perfect. So then we've got this. We can also edit it. Oops, if I don't scroll across, but instead of click it. Oh, interesting bug. Because I've got it close to there, it won't let me edit it. Although it did earlier on the device. That's interesting. So on the device, that actually works. I can tap on it, but on the simulator, you can't. So have a look at that. But anyway, the edit button's not going to stay there anyway, so I'm perfectly fine with that. But on device, it actually does let you go to the edit screen. Everything's set, as you can see there, on low, medium, none, medium, medium, for example. And you can edit it. You save it again, and it's all changed, which is perfect. This is the functionality that I want. So next up, I'm going to call it quits for now. I need to now completely neaten up this UI and make everything better, because at the moment this app is rough. So thank you for watching. I'm going to carry on playing around with this now, and yeah, this is where we are at the moment. So next update that I give, hopefully it should be me getting to the final bit of doing the UI, the pro, the premium paywall, and then yeah, I've got to make decisions on that actually, and then yeah, and then uploading it and getting everything ready for that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of this, and yeah, I just hope that this was entertaining or educational in some way or form. I don't know how, but anyway, yeah, please keep checking it out. So thanks for watching. We will see you again soon.